Hello and welcome to this episode of HT Auto. Today we are focusing on a car company and a car that's all set to make its India debut. We're talking about Citroën India, a company that's well known in international markets. In fact, it's existed for well over a century, but now is getting ready to say bonjour, namaste to India. And to talk more about Citroën India and their flagship product and a lot more, we're joined by Mr. Roland Bouchara. He's Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and Mr. Saurabh Vatsa. He's Senior Director for Marketing and PR. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Let me just begin with Roland. Roland, what was the thought process behind coming to India and seeing India as a significant market for Citroën?
Actually, introducing Citroën in India is a part of our internationalization, which is a part of our plan push to pass. And it has been decided to internationalize the group, having Citroën in India, Peugeot in the States, and Opel in Russia. And it's a way that the PSA, now Stellantis, decided to develop the internationalization strategy.
All right, fair enough. How do you see the Indian market? How is it different and how is it similar to markets elsewhere?
Actually, it's a very good question because Indian market has some specificities. First of all, the size. Even if the COVID has slowed down a little bit the market, but everyone expects the market achieving 5 million within the next, over the next 4 or 5 years. And 5 million means that the Indian market will be among the top 5. There are not so many. That's the first point. Second point is one of the other particularity, if I may say, is having two brands dominating 65% of the market. Having said that, we do believe that the situation is going to change. Why? Because the market is increasing and we have as well the structure of the segment which is going to move on all along with the, if I may say, the middle class, which is going to grow. And then the segments are going to move. If you look at today, we are talking about the SUV segment representing 25% of the market. That is new. 5 years ago or 10 years ago was not the case. So segment is going to move on. And we do believe that with our product portfolio, and you know it, we'll talk later on, we will have the opportunity to be one of the major players and within the next mainstream segment which are going to develop.
Fair enough. So as I understand, the Indian market is growing, the middle class is actually powering that growth, and there is a demand for SUVs as well. And we'll get to this SUV in just a bit. But Saurabh, how do you see the Indian market in terms of how receptive it is to a completely new brand in the automotive space? We've had new brands making their debut here in India in the last few years. What's the experience? What's the study? What does your in-depth investigation show?
I think as a market, if you look at India, we've had multiple new brands that have come into the market. So like Roland mentioned, we have two brands that dominate the market. Now another one's come in. We've got recently a couple of new brands that have come in, and the numbers are telling us the market is very receptive as long as you have the right products, catering to the right segments, to the right consumer audience. And the market is very receptive to something new, right? And therefore, it's very important to establish what is that newness, that freshness for the consumer. And therefore, when we talk about comfort of the Citroën brand, that is something which is truly unique. Nobody is talking about comfort. Either people are talking about luxury, or they're talking about features, or they're talking about pricing. Nobody is talking about comfort. And that is where the Citroën brand comes in and talks about comfort, not just in buying cars, but in our entire philosophy of going to market, starting from our Atomatic philosophy, which is anytime, anywhere, any device, any content, which could be at your home, your office, anywhere where you start the consumer journey, and right to the La Maison Citroën showrooms. And that's what we're trying to offer to the consumer, which is truly unique, which is comfort. And that's of course, something in the product as well.
Right. We've spoken about comfort that Citroën's brand promises. Let's speak about comfort and a little bit more about the car in specific. So this question is to both of you. Either can take this forward. The C5 Aircross SUV, projected as a premium SUV in the market. There's clearly a demand for SUVs here. What are your realistic expectations? Is it Is this particular model, your debut, your flagship model, more about laying a foundation for subsequent products, or do you expect a strong response for this to kickstart things with?
I think that's a very pertinent question. The fact that we brought the C5, it's our flagship SUV from Citroën brand. It demonstrates everything that Citroën stands for and has stood for in the last 100 years plus. Comfort is something that is Citroën brand's USP, and this vehicle's got everything that differentiates this product from all other SUVs in the market, and which is where we call it the comfort class SUV. And this is something that we would like you to actually experience in the car. We don't want to boast about it. We want to be truly humble about it, but we want you to drive it. And once you experience it, we would like your feedback on it, that, you know, what we asked and what we said, does the vehicle actually deliver that? We are sure that this will be a differentiating factor. And I'll just let Roland talk a little more on the sales and marketing overall 360-degree comfort that we're talking about, because that's very important.
Actually, yeah, it is very important because we are just launched the Citroën brand in India, and I explain you why. It was part of the strategy of the group. And introducing Citroën in India, we decided to introduce a new concept in terms of notably sales and marketing. And so I will just explain the main USP of the C5 SUV based on comfort. That we'll have the opportunity to come back. But the concept is not only selling a flagship, which is representing the know-how of Citroën. It's a global comfort, what we so call a 360-degree comfort. You know, we need to learn some lesson from this terrible COVID time, and something that's is appearing is that all of us are much more careful about our comfort, our health, not only ourselves, but about our family. And this car is going to show the way how much we are comfortable in this car and safe and secure. But as well, this story of 360-degree comfort means that the way that we are going to provide our services to our customers under the umbrella of we call Atawadak, anytime, anyway, any device, any content, meaning that from home on the website with a fantastic 3D configurator and many other a kind of proposal and services which are easy to use, easy to understand. We will be able to do everything which is possible at home, even buying online. But again, then you could be able to save everything that we have recorded and then visiting our what we so-called phygital network. And the word phygital means something. We're talking about a smaller dealership, but digitalized.
Right. Roland, Saurabh, thank you so much for speaking to HT Auto. It's been a pleasure. All the very best. Citroën promises to make as much noise in the Indian market as there is noise here. I'm really sorry for the ambient noise. We're right next to the airport. But here is wishing Citroën, the entire team, all the very best. And thank you so much for watching.
Merci. Thank you.